What's up, everybody? It is I, Tevin No Chapo. Friends call me Chopping. We are back with another episode of Chop Logic. Now, this is the show where we get to the logic of things my own special chop way. And listen, man, we got a special guest. Special guest, man. You know what I mean? This is a videographer. He's a well-known creative, super dope with the cameras, super diverse with so many different things that he does. We got my boy Darion in the building, man. What's going on?
What's
Darion,
up with you, man? How you doing? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Of course.
You, joining us today. Listen, man, you got a nickname, right?
Yeah.
What's the nickname?
It's Squally.
Squally. I would have never known to call you that, brother. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, coming through and, you know, just telling us a little bit more about your story, man. Just like, you know, giving people game, you know, you know, as videographers, we kind of get into this field through different ways, different means and everything like that. So kind of just tell us about your story and how you got into this.
I honestly picked up a camera about 2016. The first camera I got was a Canon T3i.
Okay.
The reason I got a camera was I'm always had like these business ideas and these thoughts in my head. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I try to implement them and combine them. So I always thought about that. So I started doing t-shirts. Okay. Creating my own little line. I'm not going to say it's a clothing line, more like a branding line. So I had the t-shirts and then I was promoting them. But then I was like, man, to help save money, what if I shot it myself? Took the pictures to help create promotional content. So that's what made me get the camera, to create promotional content. Okay. Didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I kind of went on YouTube, started seeing how to work the settings and things of that nature. And then I started literally practicing on my own thing. Didn't know how far it was going to take me because I never really had like the guidance or anything like that. I was just winging it. So after a while of not getting the feedback that I thought I would have got, I stopped it. I just put the camera down.
Damn.
I put the camera down. And the crazy thing about it is the work that I did back then, I looked at it now, I was like, this is pretty dope. So if I would have kept going, we wouldn't even know how far it would have took.
True.
So I ended up picking back up the camera 2 years ago. And the reason I picked that up, I was back again in my head was like, man, how can I do something with a business, help elevate? I was always into movies and I kind of want to position myself into creating movies, creating shows. Okay. So I was like, how can I position myself into that? By the way, I used to do music too. Okay. So I said, I made a lot of networking. So I said, you know what if I pick the camera back up, start shooting content for these people that I already made relationships with, and then ease my way into where I'm trying to go, which is more into like the movie direction and shows. Okay. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Look, that's a lot of creativity, man. You know, I'm pretty, I ain't one to brag, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty multifaceted myself, you know? So I know, like, you know, picking a trade in that type of direction is definitely, it's kind of like you got to focus a lot, you know what I mean? So like, kind of just tell me, like, what were some of the challenges they kind of present themselves once you decide to pick up the camera again? You know, you say you had the break and everything like that. You saw that you had a lot of great things that you had already done in the back burner, but you was like, you know, I want to take myself to the next level. Like, what were some of the challenges that you faced once you decided to pick up the camera again? The biggest challenge that I face, even on and off the camera, is just like through life is a me versus me challenge. Talk about that. Yeah. So with that is, I looked at me not getting the like or the feedback that I wanted as a negative thing. But when I look back at my work or look back at anything I done, I was just too advanced. I was ahead of my time. And when you're ahead of your time, you're not going to get that feedback because you're not with the trends right now. Yeah. So people looking at it as, what's this? What's that? But I didn't look at it as I'm creating something new, something that's going to like blow people's minds. I looked at it as in, dang, I must not be good. So once I overcame that, and the way I overcame that was through just continuing to see things forward. So as I see things forward, and I'm like, the stuff y'all was doing now, I did that 10 years ago. And so now I'm like, okay, cool. Now any idea that come to my head, I'm like, nah, see it through. Focus on it, push it through. And I guarantee you probably just ahead of your time. For sure, man. That's real, man. You know, I think that, you know, me versus me thing is a lot of people, you know, like I've dealt with that. Plenty of people have dealt with that. Just being in your own way, you know, thinking that you're not good enough, self-doubt, you know what I mean? Just a lot of things that kind of creep up in your head that kind of tell you not to move forward with the path that you're on. But then you realize that the talent is there, you know, the skill is there, and just even the motivation to move forward is still there. And like having that propel you outside of that doubt and have you continue to stay positive and continue to grow, you know, in the space. So, you know, it's definitely dope, man. So,
you say you wanted to like shoot movies and everything, right?
Yeah.
So you like a big movie buff or anything, or it's like
In a sense, so like I can narrow it down. So I take a lot of my content concepts. I get them from movies. Like I watch a movie and I'm like, they should tweak it this way. I wonder if someone did this on their content. But for me per se, I really want to get into psychological thrillers.
Okay.
And I want to do that only because when you really look at it from a Black creative perspective, we're not really too much deep into it.
Yeah,
we have
like
a few in there. But we create a lot of these movies that's pinpointing our traumas and how the Black culture is and make them into comedies and drama, and it ain't funny. So reality of it is really a psychological thriller. Exactly. So if we take these same concepts and make them into psychological thrillers, I feel like it will be people will take it a little bit more serious than saying, oh, that's just part of their culture type thing.
Okay, yeah, for sure. If you had to pick one, or even top 5 favorites, you know, it could be psychological thrillers, it could be any movies in general, just things that inspired you, things that really stuck with you heavy as a creative. You know, what would you say? Like
movie wise, there will be a top.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like my top movies is, of course, number 1 is gonna be Menace to Society.
Wow.
And the the reason I say that, because off the gate it just comes in hard and it comes in there strong. But that's part of the culture. Like,
for sure,
you go to certain parts, that's just how we are. Like, we very animated, we very, you know what I'm saying, dramatic about certain things. So we off the gate might be overwhelming to many people, but no, that's really that's bits and pieces of the culture.
Sure.
Another one would be that whole Lovecraft series, Get Out, Us, all them, because they're deep. Like, when you really, people watching it and you sitting there thinking about it, like, okay, cool, this is a pretty dope. But when you really think about it, it goes deeper and it makes you really think.
Shout out to Jordan Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele, he definitely dope. Like, he definitely dope. So I like all his stuff there too. You know, but the crazy thing about it, although I'm into like psychological thrillers, I mostly like watching like gangster movies. Like, I like Paid in Full. I like
one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I just recently watched again Training Day again, because it's just
classic.
And the reason I like these type movies is because when you really break down the scenery on these, like as they will say, hood movies, not that many sceneries.
Really not, no.
So what really making is really the storyline behind it. And so that's why I pinpoint, I like to watch movies that have minimal scenes, because in order for me to stay on focus on it, you got to have a dope story.
For sure. I feel that, man. Paid in Full, definitely one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? Menace to Society. We supposed to be brothers.
Yes.
Man, I feel like even Menace to Society, low-key, could have been a psychological thriller. Just the way Old Dog was moving.
Yeah.
Like, that whole first scene in the, what was that, the convenience store?
Yeah, which is crazy. And that's all from his trauma, because all that man said, I feel sorry for your mother, and he just
went off.
It triggered
nowhere. You know what I mean? Folks was getting robbed for their cheeseburgers out there. I was like, man, I don't ever want to go to Cali. That's how they move it. It was just a lot of crazy stuff, man. So, I mean, I'm also influenced by film. You know, I kind of took the school route with it. So I ended up going to film school at Georgia State, and I spent a lot of that time really studying film. Okay. You know what I mean? Analyzing films and really just dissecting them in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? So it's funny when you name these movies, like these are movies that resonate with us so much more than they do, how can I put this, our contemporaries. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like our contemporaries, they like movies like Citizen Kane or, you know, stuff like that, right? You know what I mean? I don't want to name too many contemporary type films, you know, Blade Runner or whatever. But with us, like, Men's Society resonate with us because we know people like that. Exactly. I met old dogs in my life. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I met Mitches in my life. You know what I mean? Money making Mitch from Paid in Full. Like, it's people like that. Ace, you know, Ace Boogie, you know what I mean? Like, we resonate with these stories, even with Jordan Peele, like Get Out. Like, I was just watching Get Out, like, it was on BET, like maybe a few weeks ago. Like, that story as Black men, it resonates so crazy because it's like, sometimes you be in a situation and then it's like, especially towards the end of the movie, spoilers of the movie, but when the police show up And it's like, I remember being in the theater and like everybody was like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Because we already knew it was
It's
about to
gonna
happen.
be, it's gonna be some BS.
Ain't nobody gonna hear or believe this story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then even shout out to Jordan Peele for changing the ending to that movie, because it's supposed to end with him going to prison.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know
but
what I mean? So,
yeah.
you know, shout out to him even doing that. But, you know, as creators, we always pull from these influences. You know, for me, it's always been like stuff similar to that. Like, I always like Blow, you know, with Johnny Depp. You know, I've been heavy into Snowfall. You know, I talk about that a bunch. A lot of these tales that really speak and resonate, you know, even just like a coming of age, or even just like a coming from nothing to something. You know what I'm saying? You know, even like in hip hop music, or just like so many things that resonate with our culture. Like, we resonate these stories because we see it so much and we live it so much.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying? So as creators, it's almost our job to kind of bring it out.
True.
You know what I mean? Resonate with it and give our own interpretations of these things.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's very interesting. I want to do more action movies myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to train for that. It ain't easy.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy.
I see the work that goes into it.
Yeah, like stunt choreography is like a whole different thing. And then trying to blow stuff up on a budget, damn near impossible. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine about like short films, and why like a lot of everything that you were saying, right? About like how as Black people, when we do films, we create comedies and dramas, right?
Exactly.
Part of the reason why is because it's mad cheap to do it. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of that really is dialogue based. Yeah. So it's easy to tell something, tell a joke, or have a situational thing happen, or have a dramatic sequence where you show the drama on your face.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's hard to blow up a car.
It is. Yeah.
It's hard to blow up a house, to do a shootout scene. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of moving parts into that. It takes money, you know, behind it, unfortunately. So a lot of people don't necessarily try to do it. But, you know, I feel like, you know, as a creator myself, I always wanted to push myself into doing stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Push myself to the next level. Like, I think those things are great. And I think that if you do it well, anything can resonate in multiple ways. Yes, correct. You feel what I'm saying? So even like I said with Menace to Society, to me, that was a psychological thriller.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Because it was just kind of like, it's a coming of age story, but it's like at any moment you can watch these people die. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Any day could be your last day. So
any day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, you kind of like, you on the edge of your seat. You know what I'm saying? Movies like Higher Learning. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like another one, John Singleton, shout out to him. Like, you be on the edge of your seat. Because like even going to college in that time frame, you know what I'm saying? Like you deal with racism. Like I've dealt with my own racism, and I went to college years after that movie came out. You feel what I mean? So it's just a lot of stuff like that, man. So just having to resonate with that, and just having to pivot into your content, into what you do, is like super critical, man. So I also know that about you, you do a lot of podcasting work. You know what I'm saying? We on a podcast as we speak. Yes. I just want to ask, what is some things that some people don't know about podcasting when they first jump into it?
It's really not just set up the cameras, hit record. It's definitely not that. That's what I was definitely. It's actually a lot of moving parts. Even while the person, like how we're sitting here recording, there's still moving parts. Yeah. You have to make sure everything is on there, because is oftentimes there is no, oh, let's do it again. Especially when it's an organic podcast. Exactly. When it's literally is not scripted. So when you have to stop and the person got to come back and they're already in their zone, you can't do it. And it ain't no more takes. That's just, you get one time. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They think it's simple.
Yeah, I get a lot of that myself. You know, I coach people in the podcasting as well, on top of shooting, editing for them. And one thing I realized, man, is everything that you're saying. Like, they just want to set up a camera and just say whatever about anything. And I'm just like, man, it's not how that works. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that people kind of miss the branding part of podcasting. So they'd be like, oh man, let's get a podcast and let's talk about relationships. You know, no disrespect to anybody who got relationship podcasts, because, you know, there's a lot of y'all out there. But not everybody needs a relationship podcast. You know what I mean? Everybody, you could have a successful relationship and that could just be your thing. But if it's not like you're monetizing it in terms of creating a business behind this relationship, advice that you're giving, or if you're not, you know, branding yourself as someone who's like good at relationships and can guide other people through the ebbs and flows of relationships, then there's no need for it. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the flaw. Like, you know what I mean? Like with us right now, right? Like we could start a podcast talking about movies.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, how do we monetize that in terms of outside the podcast? You know what I mean? How do we brand ourselves? How do we move forward? You feel what I mean? And it's just kind of like people just want to talk about what they know, but they don't know the steps behind it of like, okay, you know this, but how you make money off of it?
There you go. And that's where the stopping point. They
Yeah.
want to do it because they enjoy it, which is good. That's the starting
Right.
point.
Yeah,
You
of
do it
course.
because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But then there's no, that it don't go beyond that. They're thinking more of clicks and views in that and not generating money.
Exactly. And they think that the clicks and views are going to be the first thing to make them money.
No.
And I think that's another flaw of like, yo, the clicks and views are going to be the last thing to make you money.
Mhm.
So it's like, if you want sponsorships, if you want endorsements, if you want people to buy in whatever you're selling, those are going to be some of the first things that's going to start generating money in a podcast
Yes.
versus like YouTube paying you.
Mm-hmm.
Like realistically for a podcast, it's going to take you at least a year minimum of podcasting consistently
Yes, correct. But before that, yeah.
before you make anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And most people ain't that lucky.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not happening. And most people are not that consistent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, it's definitely a lot of things like that, man. So what was your wildest story that you had to deal with as a videographer? It could be in podcasting. It could be outside of some of the other stuff that you've done. Just like a wild story, a situation where you was like, man, I can't believe this happened. If you got it.
No. The wildest story, shoot. I mean, I had things that had happened. So like, for instance, I guess it could be a wild story. I had a high paying client that I had to let go.
Damn.
And the reason I had to let go, because when you're working with certain people and they hire you, that means they trust you and they understand that you know what you're doing and they understand and they trust your information.
Right.
That's why they hire you.
For
If
sure.
not, you could do it yourself.
100%.
So they trusted it. I coached them through even shooting their podcast. Like I even came up with script, like topic ideas, how they should end it, so they was coming from the ground on up. And they was like, man, I get it. It's dope. So I said, okay, cool. When it was time to release the podcast, somehow woke up and magically learned about social media or something, because they was trying to coach me on how I need to post and when I need to post and what I need to do to post. And so at that point, I was like trying to take their recommendations into consideration, because you are the client, you are paying.
Right.
But every other day, you sending me a text, and it wasn't like hey, could you tweak this and change this a bit because of this? It's more like, don't do that, and that's it. And I don't want to see it done again. And so I was like, yeah, you're too difficult to work with for me.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And that's part of one crazy story. I had one that recently happened where I was doing live event shoot, and I'm shooting with the FX30s. And with those, once you hit when you're done hitting the record button on the cameras, it takes time for it to process, for it to collect that data.
Collect up, yeah.
They were getting wild in there because it was a live. They had celebrities there, performers there. So they getting wild. Although I'm taping everything down, so somebody so happened to unplug something.
Damn.
And guess what it did? Turned off all the cameras. And guess what? It didn't save them properly.
Nothing.
But so they showed the files up as a RSV file. I had to do some searching, some Googling, and end up having to purchase this software to repair that. That took 5 hours per video.
Damn.
So that's 15 hours of my time. And mind you, I'm trying to get it, make sure it's done before I can contact the client to say if it's working or not. So I'm up, like I'm literally setting alarms to take naps. 5 hours, I'm up. All right, let's do the next one. Up, make sure it's coming. I had to do it 3-4 times though, because it wasn't working properly. Because you have to use sample video. So you have to use a sample of a video that actually was saved that had the same settings. And it reference it and it takes those pieces and rebuild that file again for you.
Wow.
So that's what the repairing of it is. So I had to do all that, come out of pocket. So although I got paid for the shoot, I'm coming out of pocket. So I have like stories like that, like where I'm doing the shoot, equipment break. I took the money that I used to get shot, that I got paid to get shot, and have to reinvest it back in there. So, but that's part of the game, because when you really think about it, they don't care. The opinion you shot for, they ain't gonna be like, oh, dang, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me go and throw you extra. They're gonna be like, dang, that's crazy. So when my video due?
All right, so what we about to do?
And that's reality of it. And so, I mean, I haven't had nothing too crazy where someone like spazzed out on me and that, because I'm more of a problem solver. I don't come to you with a problem unless I have a solution. So if you was my client, I'm not going to come to you and say, I lost your files. I'm gonna wait till I can retrieve them first, then tell you I lost them, but then tell you I recovered them just in case, you know, so I can let you know why is there a delay in your delivery time. That's it. But I don't really tell people no problem because no one really care.
Never. They'll never care, bro. I mean, I think that's great. I mean, it must be nice because I've had the other way around. I haven't had too many technical issues, but I've had people spaz out. You know, I mean, I spoke on the podcast before, but you know, folks will threaten your life even if you did a good job. Just a whole bunch of stuff, man. It's just it's a lot of weird stuff out here. A lot of weird people you got to deal with.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I want to ask you too, like, in terms of like moving forward with your business and everything like that, what would you consider an ideal client? Like the perfect client. Like if someone walked in here, who is that person? Like,
to be honest with you, the perfect client for me is no money value added to it. It's not about how much they pay me. It's really a person that actually trusts me.
Okay.
To make their vision come to reality. Because although, we're shooting in that, people don't understand, like when you do videography, especially in the podcast world, it's more than just shooting the podcast, editing it. You have to study what's trending with podcasts, looks. There's a lot of researching in there because if I'm telling you, I can help you get monetized. And I'm standing on that because that's something big to say to somebody. Hey, I can help you get monetized. People don't just throw that out because that's a 50-50. It's either you is or you ain't. But if I can sit there and tell you I can help you get monetized, that means I really believe that I can help you get monetized and you have to trust the process.
For sure.
So my ideal client would be someone that be like, I believe in you just like I'm believing in their work. And that's how we work together. Let me do my thing because I'm not here to jeopardize your brand.
For sure.
So if you allow me to let me do me, then that's my ideal client. That 100% let me do me.
No, I respect that. I respect that. I feel like that's kind of one of the biggest things, underratedly so. Like, the client will pay you, but they won't always trust you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It'll be like, oh, okay, you got that angle, right? You over here? I had situations where I'm shooting, I'm doing my thing, the client looking at me like, just pointing in random locations. I'm like, I'm already over there.
Yeah.
I'm already got that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, how we looking on this camera? How we, you know what I'm saying? Constantly asking for a playback on the camera. It's a lack of trust. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like you dealing with high-end people. They really the ones that don't care.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They the ones that be like, man, you know what? You got it. We done. Good. Let me know when the edit's ready.
Exactly. They're too busy to be worrying about it. That's why they pay you. They understand paying somebody to get a job done.
Exactly.
So it is a different on that. But then again, I'd be thinking about it, the clients that do find you, or they be like, let me see your page or whatever. So they go on your page, they see your work, they be like, man, I love the way you shot that. Why would you tell me do this and do that and that? Because there's a reason how that shot got there. It was on me. Right. I seen it. You like the way that I picture things. You like the way I take the photo. You like the way I do my videos. You like the way I edit. Why are you telling me, did you get that? Did you get this? Did you get that? And you wanted to expect to come out the video that you seen on my page.
Right. You know,
that don't make no sense.
It's crazy, man. And you know, I think a lot of that comes from too. They probably either never had an experience with a videographer or they had a bad experience.
That
with
is true.
You know what I mean? So they just trying to make sure you ain't scamming them.
Yes, exactly.
Which, you know, realistically, we not. But one thing I learned a long time ago: if someone thinks you a scam, you a scam. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what you do, or what you say, how professional you are,
they're gonna look at you as still a scam. Don't matter.
It don't matter.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? I had a situation. I did some photos for someone. She was running for a local office, right? This was like years ago. Yeah. So I did the photos. I asked her like a bunch of questions beforehand, just trying to prepare. You know what I mean? So like asking her like what angles you want to get, what dimensions of the photos you want, because obviously trying to put this on flyers and stuff like that. Like, you know, all these types of things, right? And then, you know, we come down, we do the shoot, everything goes well. I send her the photos and she's asking me like, yo, how come are these shot this way? And I'm like, what you mean? And she's like, I can't post this. I can't do nothing with this because you shot it all. I think I shot it vertically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she needed it horizontal or vice versa, right? And it was just kind of like, I asked you these questions before we even got it. You know what I mean? We never got outside before I asked you these questions. I never took your money before I asked you these questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I asked you all these things ahead of time. You paid after that. And then I met you and I did everything that I said I was going to do. Yes. And like when you got a screenshot and show her like everything and she calling my phone and you know what I mean, first thing she said like, man, I should have known that this was going to happen. Like, you should have known. mind you, she never worked with a videographer before. She never worked with a photographer before.
Exactly.
She's never done any type of content outside of like stuff she might have did on her cell phone.
Yes.
So again, she thought it was a scam. One little thing happened, it's a scam.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like, no, it's not a scam. I literally asked you all these questions. I did all these things for you. I walked you through the steps. She didn't even know how to retrieve the photos.
Oh yeah.
I do all my stuff through Google Drive. I had to walk her through how to use Google Drive. You feel what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of stuff like that. And then come to find out, she still used photos anyway. But because I was a scam in her eyes,
you remain the scam.
I'm gonna remain a scam. You know what I mean? So those are definitely not the type of people that, you know, we deserve to work with. You feel what I'm saying? Like they always gonna be out there. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, there's definitely be situations like that just constantly happen, and I'll just be like, man, I know I'm not a scam.
Exactly.
So I walk around professional, no scam. So if you think I'm a scam, maybe reevaluate what it is that you wanted from me, or reevaluate how you communicated it to me.
Exactly. That is true.
Because maybe you scammed yourself.
That is true.
You scammed yourself out of what you wanted because you couldn't convey it.
Yeah, you didn't know how to put it in the words. You had the vision in your head and you didn't know how to say it.
You didn't know how to say it. So I'm just like, well, it ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So I know that on top of doing like videography, you also have many different ventures. You are an entrepreneur in multi ways. Kind of speak on that. Speak on that journey too.
So I got to a point in my life where, let's just say, working jobs wasn't my thing. But I worked a lot of jobs. Same. Like I was the type, I'm telling you, like the person I am now wasn't like, when it came to a job, you could have said something. I could have been walking in there and you could have been like, hey, I made a joke. You're 5 minutes late. I'll turn back around and find me a new job type person. Like I was on that type of time. I was on like, I'll quit in a heartbeat. But I had to change that, but it also helped me gain skills and let me understand the in and out of running a business and different types of businesses. And I've seen a lot of similarities between how a business is ran. And so I was like, okay, cool. I can run my own. It was just one day I just got fed up because I knew for a fact that when I worked these jobs, I was the problem. I knew. So when
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. So when I left the job, it was never no, dang, they did me wrong. And that it was like, no, I knew what happened. I take accountability, but it was just one incident when I work in a job and I literally wasn't doing anything. And it was just like nitpicking at like random things I did. Once someone told me, I didn't like the way you came in and you didn't say hi till you clocked in. At that point, I was like, it's time to work for myself. So when I had so many I had like these different business ideas, and I just got excited and I said, let me do them all. Disregarding the fact that people say work on one business at a time, I disregarded it. And I understand why they say work at one business at a time. So journeying back, I was thinking of ways, how can I start a business that I can automate? I was really thinking about it. I just never knew the terminology. I didn't know it was called automation. I just came up with this idea like, what business can I start that I can fall back from and hire people and I can work from my computer? Because I always had this vision. I don't know why, for years, like 10 years, I was like, my goal, because I'll tell jobs that because they always complained that I was always on my phone. And I was. But I told them, I looked them in the face, even the bosses, even the owner of the business. I said, this phone gonna make me way more money than you can ever pay me. I just had to figure that part out. And so I knew that I wanted to be the person that woke up in the morning, get on the computer, look at a few emails, make a few calls, and close the computer, and that's it for the day. I didn't know in order to get there, you have to find a business to automate it in order to get like that. So once I figured those pieces out through the journey, it was like, oh, and it clicked. I said, okay, what business can I automate? So my goal, I ended up getting in a vending machine. And the crazy thing about it wasn't because of it was trending and people was on social media saying, oh, you can make all this money there, because I know social media, everything ain't what it is. Anything that's worth having does take hard work. So for someone to say, oh, I could put a vending machine here and start making this X amount of money, nah, you had to take some L's before that to find the right location.
Right.
What I did was I did the opposite. What I did was I said, forget trying to find the best location and test the machine there. And then if it don't work, I got to go move the machine. That takes work. I said, let me find someone that's already been in the game. And then so I found someone that's been in the game for over 10 years. And me and him had a conversation. But I also understood through my journey, in order to build with somebody, you got to spend with somebody.
For sure.
So I said, hey, let me buy some routes off you. So I bought several routes off her. I spent over 40 grand.
Wow.
40 grand with this person and helped him, and he helped me build routes. And then after that, he came to me and said, you want to just come together and partner up? And I said, bet, let's partner up. He was like, all right. So I became the investor in that. He was like, all right, cool. I can find the locations because that's what I did for you. So he let me know the ins and outs of how he do it. He said, I can find the locations. I got a plug for the machines. I can place them, find a location. I just need you to invest in it. I said, bet.
Wow.
And so with that mindset, I said, let me incorporate it in other businesses the same way. So that's how I'm kind of trying to transition into videography. I found some group of people like us, that have the same vision and goal. And instead of saying, hey, work for me, I'm like, how can we do business together?
Right.
And I understand that that's how these successful businesses like Walmart, Tesla, all them, it's partnerships.
Yeah.
And so with that, that's my whole going vision. So that's why I had to scale back some, put one of the businesses on the back burner, build one up, and then come back to it and understand the importance of doing that. But now when you think of with that mindset, you can create so many more businesses because it's not me. Now it's not about now I got to start a business from scratch. Now it's more of let me find someone that's already in it, see how I can be partnered with them.
True.
And so that's how kind of came up with my concept of doing certain things. And it has been successful because I've only been an entrepreneur for a year. Like I started in July of last year. So next year, 2025 of July, it will make it 2 years. And the moment I said I was going to be an entrepreneur, I made money the first day, all because of the mindset. So it is important to have the mindset first and understanding what you're doing. And it is important to understand that whatever you're passionate about, you might have to have stepping stones to get there. So the vending wasn't going to be my main thing. I just knew I can make money off of it day one. And I just knew that I found someone that was willing to work with me on day one. And I also knew that it can generate a lot of money and I can use that to fund what I like to do, which is videography. So we have to understand these stepping stones. Some people can just jump into that one, quit their job, focus on just that, be homeless, 6 months, they a millionaire. Yeah, that just wasn't my journey though. Mm-hmm. That wasn't my journey. So I had to understand where I was at and what I needed to do. And the biggest thing is adding value to people and what impact you have. People think it's always about money, but no, it's all about adding value. So I come in rooms humble as what can I do for you? I never come in there as in, oh, I did shots for this person. I did this. I make X amount of money. I never say that. I say, hey, what you need from me?
Right.
And you build that relationship. And that's how you make more money.
Always, man. Mm-hmm. Relationships will keep you in business. Any business. Man, look, I know you spoke on it a little bit more. It's probably going to be the last question before we do trivia. Yeah. But talk a little bit more about the importance of relationships, especially when it comes to good partners.
Okay.
A lot of people kind of jump into different partnerships without having a relationship with those people. Mm-hmm. And it can go up or it can go down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So just kind of like speak on the importance of relationships and partnerships and business and everything.
Relationships is, first off, it ain't no get rich quick anything out here.
Never.
There's no such thing. If you get money, just a bunch of money that just came to you, it's because it aligned that way. You probably put work in previous time. It was aligned to you. But a lot of people that get money that quick without any knowledge of how to obtain and keep that money and keep making money, they lose it all. So it's just a temporary success. So the importance of helping you keep money and helping you get more money is build relationships. But that takes time. Any business worth having or business that is successful, it does take time. There's no shortcuts. There's no such thing. Mm-hmm. So the importance of having a relationship, that is the key factor. So for instance, I know people that I known them for 5, 6, 7 years, but never did no business with them. I just would support them. And it wasn't in my head, support them and be fake so I can see how I can. It was never that. It was just I really liked them as a person and I really supported them. And then when it was time for me to become an entrepreneur, they the ones that sent me clients. They the one that was like, I remember you supported me. Let's do something. Then they the same ones that said, I want to do stuff with you too. So that's how you make more money. So for instance, with me, I started 3 businesses at the same time. I did the videography, the vending, and I tried to do courier service because I pinpointed in my head I needed a van to check my vending machines. I also can use this van to do courier service and make money.
Yeah,
I'm only one person. How much money do you think I can make?
True.
How much in my time a day? If I'm trying to buy back my time, I'm spending all it through these 3 businesses, but you cap out on a certain amount of money you can make. How do I make more money? Well, I have to find someone I can hire on. How do I find that? I have to trust you. How do I trust you? I have to build a relationship with you. So if you're
Exactly.
not building relationships, your business is easier for me to come in there and break it down. It's easy for me to find your loopholes and things of that nature. And I could take bits and pieces of your business and be like, I got a team. I can build the same thing too. And now my business more successful than yours because I had a partnership. I can't work all day and night and I don't want to. But you have people that if everyone has their role, no one gets burnt out, but everyone seeks some money. And so a true thing about that is with my vending. So with me, my vending by myself, me physically, I can probably produce while checking the machines too and buying product. I can probably produce about 15K a month and it stops because you burn out.
Yeah.
Partnering with somebody else, that 15K jumps from 50K to 60K. You see the difference?
Yeah.
And so I talk to a lot of people that will say, I'd rather make the whole 15K by myself. Then I said, what happens when you get older? You really want to go out and purchase the product, go check the machines, do all this and that. So you're going to get burnt out. I promise you will. And you'll have no time for your family and nothing else. Rather than splitting with somebody and we make 60 together, split it in half, even after business expenses, we split in that after that, I'm still making more than I ever did.
For sure.
And I don't even have to touch nothing because I can hire people. So now I'm at home doing what I said, being on the computer, just checking to make sure everybody's at work, as you would say. And you're creating job opportunities. So when you network, you're not only helping yourself, you're helping the community. And that's the biggest thing, is to help the community.
For sure, man. Listen, man, that's powerful, man. Listen, if y'all not building the good relationships, man, you got to start today, yesterday even. All right. Relationships are super important. Man, I'm telling you, I've been in the same boat. Like, relationships kept me in business and it's still keeping me in business. Shout out to all the good relationships that I've garnered up, all the great people that I've met and worked with and just interacted with, man. You know, it's super powerful, man, that you speak on that. So, you know, I appreciate you again coming through, man. You know, but we not done yet.
Oh, yeah.
We're not done yet. We're gonna take a word from our sponsor. And then after that, we finna dip into some trivia. So stay tuned.
Let's go.
This video is sponsored by Chop House Media Group. Now listen, podcasting is hard, all right? There's a lot of moving parts to a successful podcast, whether it be the shooting side, the post-production side, the audio mixing and mastering. Just having the right strategy and know how to even get this podcast in the right places and getting it into the right positions to get monetized. And that is where Chop House Media Group helps out at. We have coined the phrase, the podcast in the box, where we pretty much facilitate anything and everything that you need to run a successful podcast, between the production, the post-production, the strategy, and the tips and tricks that you need to be 1,000% successful in every single aspect of your podcasting career. Now, if you are interested in being a part of this and making sure that you get your podcast to the next level, whether you are just now starting out your podcast or you are already in the podcasting field but want to take it to another level, be sure to hit the link below and schedule your free consultation with us to make sure that we get your podcast up and going further than you can ever imagine. All right, again, thank you to Chop House Media Group for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the show. And we're back. All right, so Darion, as you may or may not know, we do trivia on this show, right? So usually we do the trivia. For me, you get 3 questions, get 2 out of 3 right. I get to keep my money.
Okay.
All be well, right? Now, see, this is a funny situation. Since you're here, I'm going to give you the opportunity to win.
Okay.
And I'm going to give y'all an opportunity to win, too. So, we're going to ask my producer, Javane. He has some questions set up for him. We're going to ask 3 questions.
Okay.
You get 2 out of 3 right, win a cash prize right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? You get 2 out of 3 wrong, I get a cash prize to the people. Now, if you want to win the cash prize, first things first, you must be subscribed to the YouTube channel, Chop House Media Group. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and do it now. There's a subscribe button. You got comment below your favorite moment of the episode. You know, Darion, he's here giving a lot of gems. So I know there's something that you enjoyed of what he said. So you comment that below for you to be eligible to win the prize. Now, I don't know what these questions is like that. Now, I didn't make it.
Yeah.
So if they sound crazy, I'm telling you and the audience, I didn't do it. All right.
Blame ChatGPT, bro.
You said what?
Blame ChatGPT.
Blame ChatGPT.
Blame the AI, bro.
The AI overlords getting us yet again.
Yeah.
So we just gonna go ahead and get started, man. Javane, what you got, man? What you got for my boy, man?
I don't want to say they're simple, but they are kind of they are kind of simple. So they're mostly surrounding videography because that's what we're here for.
That's what we do.
The first one, I'm going to list 4 statements and you're going to tell me which one is correct.
Okay.
All right. So A, it's better to shoot in the direction of bright lights. B, stay 10 feet or more from the person being interviewed. C, talent should be facing light. Or D, avoid bright areas.
C.
Bingo.
Okay.
All right. Ding ding.
All right. On the roll. Okay.
All right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Number 2 look kind of easy too. I need to start making these.
Hey man, listen. Javane pull out all the easy questions when it's not me. All right. I just want to make sure that we on the same page about that.
We not, bro.
When it's me by myself,
we not.
We get all the. What year was the camera created? Was it 18? I'm like,
I don't know
nothing about that.
All right, man. This one is easy too. So number 2 is, what is the standard frame rate for most cinematic films? You got A, 30 frames per second. B, 24 frames per second. C, 60 frames per second. Or D, 15 frames per second.
I'm gonna go with the 60.
60?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's hard to say, my boy, but ChatGPT says that is 24.
Ooh.
24.
Now things getting interesting.
Yeah.
1-1.
Oh, we 1-1.
Yeah, I know. What was that movie when Will Smith was playing him in like a younger version of himself?
Yes.
I know
was
what you're
like-
talking about, but yeah, I don't remember. It was supposed to be like an action type.
The
sort of-
clone,
yeah, like a
something
clone.
that.
Yeah.
That was like 120 frames or something like that. It was something crazy.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it
thinking,
was
I know
something
that
crazy.
would be that because it's action, a bunch of action
Yeah.
on there. So I was trying to think of.
And that was like one of the first movies to do that, or at least the ones that I've ever seen.
Yeah, because
Oh.
of the CGI.
Yeah,
Because of the thing,
yeah.
Yeah, so that was crazy. I saw something like that the other day, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of crazy. 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really weird number.
Yeah, it was
And I'm
some
like-
crazy number. I was like, man, why would you shoot a movie in that?
Right.
Unless you're gonna slow the whole movie
lot
down.
of boy. That was a lot. They
What
had to
is
go
the name
through.
of that movie?
I don't know what that movie. It was
Yeah.
Will Smith versus Will
Will
Smith.
Smith. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I
Will
got the
versus
picture
Will.
of the
That's what the
cover.
movie was called.
Basically.
It's Will versus Will. All right, so you 1-1.
Mhm.
All right,
Either
cool.
way,
Mm-hmm.
now this is tension. You know what I'm saying? This is the real psychological thriller right here, boy.
Doo-doo.
You know what I'm saying? Let's
All
go.
right, number 3. What does the term rolling shutter refer to in videography? A technique for capturing slow motion blur during fast movements. B, a camera sensor issue that distorts straight lines during quick pans or fast moving subjects. C, a method for stabilizing footage in post production. Or D, a setting that adjusts the shutter speed automatically.
And what was the question again? That was a lot of information. That was a lot. What was the
All right,
question?
The
Yeah,
question
run this
is,
Yeah.
what does the term rolling shutter refer to in videography?
Rolling shutter.
Hey, I can't help. And even if I
Yeah.
could, I can't help.
You know what?
Y'all know that?
Not.
I'm not gonna lie on camera and act like I know that right off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I've heard the term.
Look, I only know the term because I used to watch a whole bunch of like camera reviews.
And they'll say that.
Yeah, they'll say it's a running thing with like some Sony cameras, and I got a bunch of Sony cameras, so I had to like
Oh yeah, y'all
do
team Sony though.
Yeah,
I had to
so
do
I'm
my,
just because I heard the term.
yeah, you just
And I'm trying to,
Yeah,
know
I've
what?
heard
I'm
it
just
too.
gonna go. I'm just gonna take a good educated guess, not spend too much time on it. I'm gonna go with that automatic one that you said. It's an automatic thing.
the setting that adjusts the shutter speed automatically.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna go with that.
Okay, that's locked in, and
That's your final answer?
Yeah, is that the final answer?
Yeah, that'll be my final answer.
All right, cool.
we got?
So the answer is actually B.
What was B?
B is a camera sensor issue that distorts straight lines during quick pans or fast
I didn't know
moving
it was an
subjects.
issue thing. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I seen it before. I know what you're
Yes,
talking
you know
about.
what it is. So,
I
like, when you
seen
do
it.
this,
Yes.
And like
Oh, you get
the-
streaks and all that.
No,
Yeah.
like so the subject, or like if you were pointing it at like the scene, right? And you move your camera like this, like everything like it moves.
Oh, it warps.
Yeah,
It warps,
yeah, I seen it before.
Okay.
I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. So you seen it? You just that's the name for it.
Okay.
So you learned something today.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's what's
yeah,
up,
yeah.
hey, I love that.
Learn.
Yeah.
Every day, gotta
Awesome.
learn something.
Yeah, I learned a few things, man. You know, shout out to you, Darion. You definitely dropped some gems. You
For
know,
sure.
I learned a few things from you. Javane just taught me something right there. You know, unfortunately, you didn't get a prize.
Hey, it's
today,
cool, but hey,
you
might
know,
be a lucky winner there.
Yeah, definitely. That means somebody watching, man. So
Mhm.
make sure that you watch. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like the video. Make sure that you comment your favorite moment. Like I said, Darion been here dropping gem after gem after gem after gem, man. So I appreciate you again coming through, my brother, man. Let these people know how they can find you on social media, websites, if they need business, like the whole nine. Where can they find you at?
Ooh, shoot. You know, I'm gonna give out my personal one. So,
You give it all away.
yeah,
No, did he? That was crazy.
I'm gonna
That was kind of.
Oh, dang.
That was wild. My bad.
Okay.
You can give all the social media accounts to the audience. You could.
Just do your thing.
You good, bro. I'm
All right, so my personal Instagram is going to be Squally. My videography is Dreamwave Agency. My podcast, I do have a podcast, is DE the Brand. And then my vending is DE Vending. And then my courier service is DE Delivery. And I'm pretty much active on pretty much all of them because, you know, I just thought it was a great idea to juggle things. So that's where you have it.
Yeah, man. Look, so whatever you need,
Mm-hmm.
hit my boy up, man. You know what I mean? Like he's multifaceted, super talented. Darion, again, thank you, my brother,
Yes,
for coming
sir.
through,
It was
man.
a pleasure.
You know what
It
I'm
was a
saying?
pleasure.
We had a great conversation, man.
Yes,
Definitely
sir.
gotta have you come back. Definitely gotta have me on your podcast.
Oh, yeah,
too,
definitely.
man.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know
we're
what
gonna
I'm
definitely
saying?
set that up.
We're gonna chop that up too, man. But this has been another episode of Chop Logic. I appreciate y'all for coming and joining us with another episode. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to comment below your favorite moment. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to watch the old episodes, 'cause I know you probably ain't watched them yet either. And listen, man, we'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.